Nightmare, man. Everyone hear me okay, yeah? Hi, Aidan, how you doing? How you doing? Hi, 21st Century, thank you very much. Hi, Danielle. I don't know what happened there, to be honest with you. I just tried to hit it to go live, and it just didn't load up, so I had to make another one. How you doing, Dynamic Duo? I seen your message on the other stream there, the other live. Thank you very much for joining me. I watched your video the other week there, so I done a little video on it and gave you a wee mention. Hey Ali, how you doing? Hi Alan. See, Jamie had left a question to ask me what I'd thought of the Scotland's new hate bill, hate speech that I'd done a video on last week. And yeah, it's nice and totalitarian, isn't it? For anyone that doesn't know about it, basically what it means is that if you're sitting at your dinner table or any table, your living room, and you say something to anyone and they don't like it, they can start to get you charged for it. So that's sort of where we're at. Hi, Purple Rain. Jimbo. Definitely, Jimbo. That's freedom of speech out the window. And as I said in the video, thank you very much, Dynamic Duo. I really appreciate that. That's very generous. Yeah, Jimbo. That's the point of it, and that's Siobhan Brown, I think her name was. She said that, we're not looking to stifle free speech. It's like, we support it. It's like, but that's exactly what you're going to do, because everybody's just going to be like, I better not say that. They're going to self-censor, because it'll be like, well, if I say that, it might offend them. And then they're going to spend their time worrying if they've phoned the police or not, or attended one of these snitch sites. So, of course, that's what it's going to do, because that's what it's supposed to do. I'm not sure if Labour wins, we'll be any better off 21st Century, because, I mean, Keir Starmer, that man he's a serious threat to freedom. They said Boris Johnson was one of the greatest threats to democracy we've ever had as a Prime Minister. Well, I would say Keir Starmer, if he became the Prime Minister, he would take that title. Hi, El Rife, because they're following an agenda. And, I mean, look at the immigration policy. I mean, I've been criticised from some people for it, but I don't really care, because if you just take a look at Ireland, it's like a testing ground. I'd seen something earlier on as well, that they were going to be building 16,000 homes for asylum seekers, while we ourselves have got people sleeping in tents, which is just, I mean, it boggles the mind. It really, I mean, this place is an utter shit show. It really is. And I often wonder if I've taken a wrong turn when I've incarnated here, genuinely. And then other days you're like, well, yeah, I know why I'm here. But some days it boggles the mind, like, because what goes on a daily basis, some of the nonsense that people comes out with. And you're absolutely right, Danielle. The truth does hurt, and that's why people come out with bloody nonsense. I mean, some of the things I've had people say to me over the years has just been utterly ridiculous. And it continues. And like I say, I mean, I've had a lot of people in the comments and on lives, I'm unsubscribing because I don't like what you just said. That's absolutely fine. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to not say it so that you stay a subscriber to my channel. That's not what this is about. Hiya, Carmen. How you doing? Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. Yeah, you're right. Hamza Yousef's anti-white speech, Mister. Absolutely. He's another one that's a threat to free speech. You're right, dynamic duo. That is. That's it. That's why it's like that. I've said this before. It's like Albert Einstein's quote: "If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the true definition of insanity." And that's what we're doing when we vote for politicians. I know the Tories are worried about reform, and people say to me all the time, "It's the Tories, Alan. It's not the Tories. I know they're administrating it for the moment, but it's ultimately the people that control them and Labour and anyone else who gets in. That's why I'm sceptical of any party's reform, any of them." Flawed but faithful, absolutely. Why vote for any of Satan's minions? And that some people would look at that and say, well, that's a load of rubbish. But it's actually true. It is true. I mean, these people, what they're involved in is it is very, very hard to face. I'm not saying it's not. It's a very difficult subject, and I've often called it humanity's dark night of the soul. Because once we face it and realize it's actually happening, we'll change. That's when the world will start to change. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Jimbo. If someone gives you a lot of vitriol, it just means you're right. That's it. What is it they say about truth, isn't it? They say first it's ridiculed, secondly it's violently opposed, and then third it's accepted as self-evident. I'm at the part where it's violently opposed just now. Top Cat saying they're from Enniskillen, just near the border of the south. That they've dumped their crap there. Mind you, we're seeing more here. I mean, I've seen it. I know. Granted, I've not seen it with my own eyes. It's only what's been on the news. But I know there's a lot of Irish people that are not very happy about it, and no one can. I mean, the Irish are some of the warmest people in the world. And you know when they're up in arms about. I mean, it's a religious country, isn't it? So the idea that they wouldn't want to help people is ridiculous. So it tells you, or it shows you just how bad the situation is when they are sort of up in arms about it, and they should be, because their streets look absolutely terrible. I mean, it's tents lined up on bins and or back streets next to the bins, and it's just like, I often wonder. I mean, if you're coming here to do that when the people don't want you, and if you're not coming from a war-torn country, why? I mean, I don't know why you would want. Would you really go that far just to get free benefits? And here's the point. This is very, very, very simple to sort out. Asylum seekers are for people seeking asylum. It's in the title. From war-torn countries. That's the main reason for it. So if you have someone who's crossed into this country illegally via boat, and then you establish that they have come from a country that is not war-torn, regardless of any human rights in place, because of the situation, that individual should be sent back to the country that they have entered from. I don't see anything wrong with that. If it's somewhere like Afghanistan or Syria or Ukraine, because there's apparently a war going on there, I'm not saying there's not. If there's a war going everywhere, it's a spiritual war, then fine. But we've got people coming from all over, because it's going to make life easier on them with regards to the benefits system. And I don't mind saying that, because that is the vast majority of what it is. I've seen it and heard it with my own eyes. Seen it with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears. Yeah, Dynamic Joe. Yeah, the one that people that unsubscribe, I don't really care. I mean, I'm not bothered. Like, I've had a lot of stick about the UFOs video that I did, and it was like, well, that's my opinion. It's ridiculous that you think we're alone here, and it's like, it's my opinion. I'm not asking you to believe it. Like, and then you get on my Israel video. I had a guy saying that he could, if he had the time, he would dismantle what I'd said, and I felt like saying, well, if you could have, you would have. Thank you very much, Wiggle. That's really nice of you to say. Hey Ash, how you doing, pal? You too, mate. I was happy with that interview I did, Ash, and actually I've just reminded myself I meant to share that. I'll get a link posted for that tonight. I did a mental health interview on Ashley's Speak Up podcast, so I'll get that posted later. Thank you very much, Leanne. That's really nice of you. We do. I mean, we're flawed but faithful. We do live in a spiritual world. We're spiritual beings, and that's who we truly are at the heart chakra. Everyone needs to learn about chakras because it'll change your life once you understand that part of yourself. And it's the reason when I started to understand that I was part of something bigger. We all are. We're all part of the same thing, the same energy, and that you can tap into that. I believe there's it's like a field of some kind where all the knowledge exists, the music's there, the inventions, the concept, everything, it's all there, and you can tap into that using your energy and your biological computer because the body is like an antenna. The skin can act as an antenna, so is DNA. It's a receiver transmitter. So you can receive and transmit information like from that field. That's what I believe songwriters do and people that create. It definitely exists. Like even Nikola Tesla talked about it. He said that he hadn't penetrated the secrets of it, but he knew that it existed because that's where he got his inventions from. And I believe it. Like I definitely do. There's no doubt about it. That's why you can be whatever you want and do whatever you want to do and learn whatever it is. It might take you a little bit longer to understand it. But even though you might not understand the words in the beginning, still read them and you eventually will. And I'm proof of that. I get people saying to me all the time, yeah, but you can take on information and hold it. But I couldn't always do that though. That comes with putting the time in and working on yourself. And everybody's got the potential to do it. It might not be exactly the same in exactly the same way, but you will still be able to do it. You'll do it in your own way because there is no wrong way. Yeah, Danielle, not many people do agree on everything. And we shouldn't be demonized for having a difference of opinion. And that's the problem with the woke left. It's they just, if you don't agree with them, you're engaged in hate crime, as I've said before. And I'm getting a lot of from flat earthers, people that believe in the flat earth. And if you want to believe that, that's fine. And there is good arguments for it. But I say it all the time. Just because it may appear flat or feel flat doesn't mean to say it is, because nothing's ever how it is in reality is the way you think it is. It's like time. We experience time in a linear fashion, but it doesn't exist year into year. We just experience it that way. Past, present, and future all exist in the same moment. The world might seem like it's rock solid, but it's not. It's made of atoms. We experience it as rock solid, but at the atomic level, it's 99.9% empty space. So that's what I would say to them. And every single one of them, I can tell by the language and the dialogue that they use, if they believe it or not, whether they say it in those words in the comment at the time. And they're accusing me of being a shill just because I don't agree with them. Now, I used to sit and wonder about people that they'd said that to. I wonder if he is a shill. I wonder if he is. But now I know I'm not. I'm just a normal guy that's just been doing a job that just happens to have read some books. And yet, because I don't agree with them, I'm somehow inserted as a shill because what I say contradicts what they believe. That's not my fault. And I don't care if you believe what I say, and you can continue to believe it's flat. But I would say this to them: what happens if you get up there or somehow you experience the atmosphere and you see that it's round? Are you going to be able to accept it? That's what I would say to them. So, and then you get people as well, and it doesn't matter what the subject is, right? See, if I say something alternative to what the government's putting out, if someone's still under the government programming, they automatically say, oh, you must believe the earth's flat. And it's like, well, no, I don't. Why? Nobody's talking about the earth being flat. So just because I don't agree with the government on this, I'm somehow must believe that the earth's flat. It is utterly ridiculous. It really is ridiculous that people say that. And I'm not going to ridicule anybody for believing it's flat. I just don't believe it's flat. That's entirely up to you if you want to believe that. But I would say one last thing on it, that and I've said this to many of them, what honest difference would it make to anyone's life if we somehow realized the earth was flat instead of round? I'll tell you, not a blind bit of difference. And what they say to that is, but then people would see that the government's lying. But people know the government lie. Look at the evidence that's come out in the last couple of years alone. It doesn't matter. people take on the information when they're ready to, and that and only then. So it changes absolutely nothing. And that's what I don't understand, why people get so hung up on it, because it doesn't really matter. And if it does turn out to be flat, which I'm certain it's not, but if it does, I'll be the first to throw my hands up. I don't mind doing that either. Yeah, you're right, Danielle. There's no space for economic migrants. Sorry, I went a wee bit off there. Tends to happen when you talk these subjects. Yeah, economic migrants. Somebody put a brilliant comment the other week there, and they said, when you're traveling through 10 different countries to get to Britain, you're not seeking asylum, you're seeking a benefit or free benefits. And he was right. Yeah, absolutely. 21st century. We need more affordable housing for people living here already. Of course. I mean, I, it is. It's crazy. Like, if you say, right, what we'll do is we're going to build houses for 16,000 migrants coming here when we've already got homeless of our own. It's like, shouldn't you be saying, right, okay, we'll do that. We'll build 16,000 homes, but we'll at least try and deal with some of our own homeless first, and then we'll look at maybe doing some migrants. But it doesn't work like that because it's an agenda. Yeah, go back to the Danielle saying go back to the first safe country they entered. I mean, I would just send them back to the country they came from. It's as simple as that. Auto solutions, the unelected need to go, get them all out of the Houses of Parliaments over the UK, remove their wealth, get them on 95 jobs so they know what it's like to live from paycheck to next. Yeah, that would be a really good idea. Right, okay. Yeah, absolutely, auto solutions. We do. We need level-headed people from humble beginnings to run this country, and that's often the problem. We've got politicians that make decisions that will not and will never affect them or their families or their descendants, and that's the problem with it. They're making decisions that do not affect them, and that is why we need people from level-headed and humble beginnings to run it. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Rob. That's really nice of you. Alan, I've been called weird all my life, mate. It doesn't bother me. It's my opinion. This world is an amazing place. This universe, we don't know anything about it. We know nothing, mate, and I mean nothing. So to say it's all nonsense when we've not done the research and we don't know anything about our history or anything, because everything's hidden. There's so much hidden from us and has been hidden from us. So you can't say that, mate. Hi, Lee. Marry thought with emotion. England rents its own rain. Yeah, I mean, to pay for water is just ridiculous. I mean, you don't pay for it in Scotland. I just don't understand that. Like rainwater, it calls for the bloody sky. The truth, absolutely, Alan. The truth is all that matters, mate. And listen, I know it's difficult. I really do. It's not easy. Like the truth, I said it the other day. There, no one had a tougher time than this with me than me. Honestly, I used to look at something and I would get quite angry. That's nonsense and throw the phone. Doesn't help though. We need to try and sit through it and look at it, and then at the end of it, if you still say, "No, that's I'm not ready for that," or "That's not for me," that's fine as well. And no one will ever, and I said this the other day there as well, no one will ever hold it against you um, for coming and saying, by the way, that's actually really, that's you were correct about that. That's it's good information. And I've said this many times that it'll never be held against you because it deters other people from doing the same thing. And we need everyone to sort of stand on their own truth and look at these things. Absolutely everyone to do it. Yeah. Flawed but faithful, spiritual. Yep. God Almighty as our creator, whatever that means to you, right? I don't follow the Bible. I happen to believe the Bible has been taken from something else. That doesn't mean you can't learn from it, and it doesn't mean that it can't make you a better person. And if it does make you a better person, I'm certainly not going to deter you from that path. However, my concept of God is, and I've said this many times, the force that moves all things, the wind that blows the trees, the energy that animates us. We're all part of that. The silence, the all possibility, waiting to manifest. That's who we really are at our hearts, and that's creation. And we've got a tiny little bit of that magic in each of us. It's like the ocean. Like, you take the droplet out the ocean, it's still the ocean. You put it back, it becomes they're one and the same. And that's what I look at as God, a great spirit of some kind, because something had to have created all this. I don't believe it's a man in a white beard doing what he does. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. But I do believe there is something else to it, because here we are. You can't deny creation. I mean, here we are, and there's so much we don't know about this universe and this life. I mean, I've done it for myself for 27 years, walked through the world and had not a clue what was happening in it. Yep, Daniel, the left have gone mad. Absolutely. Because if you put shite in, you'll get shite out. That's with your computer, it's the same thing. Same thing with a person. The old Christian values, Stephen Collins, absolutely. And I would stand by that, because I look at those values as the values of a spiritual consciousness. It's 51% service to others, always tell the truth. And I've said this before about Jesus. I don't believe he existed. It was his words that count. It's the words. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Just focus on what he said. And it's the Christ consciousness that's in each and every one of us. That's God. That's why they call that God. But they've twisted it and manipulated people with it. So we need to try and put that back and learn the true nature of it. Thank you very much, Ashley. It was a pleasure to be on. Ashley's saying he had a friend of his, that the analogies that I used with the DVD player, I've used it before in a video. When you're screaming at the screen, if a DVD's playing, for anyone that's not heard it, and you want that to change because you don't like what's playing on it, you can scream at it all night. It's never going to change. What you need to do is you need to go inside the DVD player and remove the disc and remove that information and put it in with the information that you want. Because then that's when it comes on the screen. It's the same way as we change in here. Outside us, it changes with it. It changes what's playing, because there is no out there. Everything's in here. That's why politics never succeed, because they're always looking out there for the answers. The answers are inside each and every one of us. It's as simple as that. And that's that God consciousness that I'd spoken about. And once we reconnect with that, the sky is the limit. I'm experiencing that. Like, honestly, if you had told me 10 years ago that I'd be almost speaking Spanish, learned to play the guitar and lead guitar, and lost all this weight while maintaining a healthy lifestyle and a routine of rigorous exercises, I would absolutely have laughed in your face so much I'd have pissed my panties. Honestly, the words, I haven't got the words to describe it. And I'm telling you, anyone can do it. Anyone can. It's just learning this knowledge, and not even this knowledge, learning about yourself, because it comes from within. The amount of times that I've had things just hit me out of nowhere, and like I've sat and thought where like things that I've not understood, and then out of nowhere it'll just hit me, and I'm like, that's how that works, isn't it? It's amazing, and this because you're connected into your channel. When you're in what their channel, it's fear and anger and all the rest of it, and you can't think straight. It's like I seen a good analogy the other week where, like boiling water, you can't see your face in boiling water, so it needs to be calm. It's the same with yourself. So you can't think straight when you're boiling up and angry. It just doesn't work. Take it easy, Dynamic Joe. Thank you very much for joining, mate. Take it easy. No problem at all, mate. I'll be glad to hear from you. Yeah, Top Cat, I'm sick of the woke and all. I've had enough of it. Thank you very much, Paul. That's really nice of you. I'll try my best. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, if I can, I keep on saying it, if I can do it, you can do it. And just change yourself. Just think differently. Think a little bit more positive about yourself. And I'll be honest, I've been the last couple of weeks has been quite draining. Like it's been time consuming and it's been draining. and I've been quite tired at nights. But do you know something? I would rather have that than have nothing to do, because this is what I asked for. I made a conscious decision 10 years ago to become a better person, to try and help people and make the world a better place. And this is what it entails. So you have to be grateful for it. This is exactly what I signed on for. And if you told me 10 years ago again that I would be doing this just now, I would have laughed, but at the same time broken your arm off for it. Yeah, I mean, I know my analogies on religion don't go down well. Like, I know that, but when you actually look at the religions, like, they're all telling the same story, albeit with different characters and slightly different analogies. But it is essentially more or less the same story, because it actually comes from the Sumerian tablets. A lot of the stories, when you look at what's on, well, the translations of the Sumerian tablets, like Zachariah Stitchin done a lot of them, but then people came later and realised that there was actually contrived stories in them. In other words, he made some of them up, because very few people still speak this Sumerian language. But according to these texts, a lot of the stories, and these predate the Bible by 100,000 years, probably more. Some of them, so it's coming from a different place. Doesn't make it any less true, like, but it just means that it's not quite what they're saying it is. Which, listen, it doesn't matter. What we need to do is we need to just we need to stick to what makes us better people, and if that's what makes you a better person, I'm not looking to fall out or offend anyone on that. If reading the Bible or the Quran or whatever, or it makes you a better person, then fair enough. I'm not going to deter you for that. The important thing is that we do is that we respect that in each other and realise that we need to come together regardless of what we believe, and that we need to deal with this situation. And the only way we're going to do that is by getting it together and respecting each other's views, as I said last week. Yeah, these polar flips, Triumph 34. I mean, this is all part of what I was talking about in my climate change video with axial precession. There's a lot of things, a lot of changes happening. Definitely. Love Mother Earth? No, absolutely not. I didn't get the job. No, no. Yeah, the flat Earth is mad. There's no doubt about it. But again, I'm not looking to offend anybody with that. That's just my opinion. Yeah, Athens, that's up to you, mate. You can believe it if you want. I don't. I still respect your right to say it, though. And as I've said many times before, I've probably got a lot more in common with people that believe that than people that sort of just don't believe anything, the alternative that comes out and buy everything that the government says. So again, I'm not looking to fight anyone on it. Like, it's just my opinion. I've read some of it, NK. I've read a lot of the stories in it, and like I say, I compared it to the Sumerian tablets, and the Sumerian tablets predate it. I don't know if it's quite 100,000 years actually. I will need to look at that again. It's maybe not as much as that, but it is thousands and thousands of years, and the stories are remarkably similar. And there's something else that needs to be looked at as well. The Nag Hammadi texts from the Great Library at Alexandria, which the Catholic Church burnt to the ground, because of the information that was in it. Well done, Lee. Lee saying he always reads his Bible. Look, mate, if that's what helps you through life, that's what helps you navigate and understand the world, mate. Absolutely. If you're going with the Christ consciousness and you're trying to do the right thing, then keep going, brother. I'm not upset, Athens, pal. I'm just saying, mate, that's my opinion, and I don't believe the flat earth. So I don't know why you're saying I'm upset, mate, because I'm not. Information that sort of that doesn't match up with my own or is opposite to what I'm saying, it doesn't bother me, mate. That's how you know when you've grown, when you can read, because I've read plenty about it, and there is some arguments, but like I say, it's what you don't take into consideration the sacred geometric nature of the universe. It just doesn't come into it, and that's where it's flawed. No, Stephen, they don't want affordable housing. As you're seeing, or as I'd seen, as we're all seeing, with the rent prices going up and some of the people having to leave their properties because they can no longer afford it. And again, it's just unreal that they can bring more people here if that's going on. I don't understand it. Um, I just don't understand it. Has the DWP been set up to stop the benefit tourists? Well, I would say from what they give out, it probably encourages them. But at the same time, I mean, we do have to remember that a lot of these people that are coming here, they are going through the same trials and tribulations that I've spoken of as British people on the benefit. I mean, like I say, that Ukrainian family that had gotten everything verified more or less instantly. I'm not saying that that hasn't happened for British people. I'm sure it probably has. I'm just saying I hadn't seen it. From what I could see, everyone was trying their hardest to get their housing cost verified, and it just wasn't happening. So when I seen that, it made me a little bit angry because I thought, well, that's not fair. Absolutely, his real lights. Help others, love thy neighbour, and that's it. It doesn't matter. It's love that's the answer. And we don't mean love that that you fancy someone or something like that. It's like it's like unconditional love. In other words, you love someone no matter, or you help someone, or you respect them no matter what you think of their beliefs. That's it. Just do what you want as long as you don't impose it on someone else. That's see, since I've started living by that, my life is all it's really has helped me, definitely. And the other thing as well is, don't be bothered with what other people's opinions of you are. It's not what I say is, when someone says something bad about me, it's none of my business what their opinion is of me. That's their business, not mine. And I'm not going to make it my business because they're entitled to it. Stand as counsellor, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would be accepted as a counsellor in this area, Ogham. That's really nice to hear. We want B Druvies, that the channel's called. He's saying that a nice thing happened to him today. His card was blocked in the supermarket, and for some unknown reason, a legend of a guy paid for his shopping. So that, honestly, man, see that kind of thing gives me hope. It really does. So thanks for sharing that. That's one thing I'll agree with you on. His real lights and faithful. The devil does absolutely exist. Absolutely. And when you start looking at the Nag Hammadi text, that's where I learned that the Archons, and anyone that wants to look at it, you'll see they'll have remarkable similarities to what you read in the Bible. How you doing, Mr. M? I am actually having a good day. Thank you very much. I hope you are too. How you doing, Michael? Yeah, you're right. Michael's saying some of the people can be all right part of the time, and part of the people can be all right some of the time. But all the people can't be all right all of the time. You're absolutely correct on that one. I've never actually heard it put it like that, said like that before. So thanks for that. Absolutely, NK. That's exactly where it's been taken from. The Noah story, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's the same story, just that Gilgamesh is much older, and it's symbolic as well. I mean, they're not literal. I mean, we don't actually believe that Noah or Gilgamesh had taken one of each. What was it? It's two animals or something like that, wasn't it? Of each, and taken them on an ark. But I've heard that said that it could be like genetic material for these thingies, for these animals to restart the world again. Which, I mean, when you read these texts and that and what's in them, there's just so much more to know that we've not been told. And to think that you would, I mean, we can all agree we don't know everything that's going on in the world. So when something new comes along, if you'd never read into that, it's not fair to dismiss it. But we do, and there's no different. I used to do it as well. Hiya, Crick, how you doing, pal? Bob of Speakers Corner, give him a look, see, Alan. I'll have a look at that. Yeah, you're right, Mister. That is the problem as well. That when things are found out to be correct, they start changing the goalposts. You're right. Hi, Brunette. Well, NATO bat Alan's asking if will NATO batter Russia? Well, I mean, I see that as a chessboard, mate. That's a game that we're not privy to all the rules. That's what I'll say about that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what the Bible is. That's what the devil is in the Bible, a deceiver. In case in the Bible talks about those who worship forces as being deceived, but they are deceived though. Hi, Jace. I haven't Paul the Hat, the Eden books by Paul Wallace. I'll maybe have a look at that to see because there's definitely something to this extraterrestrial thing in the Bible. I mean, there's famous paintings that have got pictures of UFOs in them. I mean, anyone that just have a look at what they're releasing with regards to the declassifying the files. I mean, some of the footage that's been released's been unreal, and you have to wonder why they're doing that. NK, Jesus said, "As I am the truth." That's what I've found. Consciousness is the truth. When you connect with it, you will realize the truth, and that's what it means. And you start living your life in that way, in that Christian way, trying to do the best by anyone you can. You're welcome, John. John saying his eyes have been open to the call lines, agents for the DWP. I mean, I done a video today. I don't know, a wee altercation with a case manager. It was just a wee drone, like, trying to hit me with his patter, and I was having none of it, and he obviously thought he was in the right, but he wasn't. And he's still to come back to the message because he knows he's been proved wrong. Yeah, that's what matters. Flawed but faithful, saying the amount of Christianity in here is wonderful, and they're thanking us, and that's brilliant because it doesn't matter if we read the Bible or not. It's the message that counts. Just stick to the message. You don't need to believe what everyone else believes with it, as long as you stick to the message. Danny Morgan's asking if I'm into Bitcoin at all. If please learn how powerful it could be for people to help free themselves from the system. There is knowledge and power. And I mean, I must admit, like, I need to take a kind of half interest in something and all that. No, I know it can set you free and all the rest of it. And I would like to kind of, but it just bores me, all that numbers and stuff. I like stuff that stimulates the mind. It just doesn't stimulate my mind. That no offense to anyone that it does like. It's just I'm in other stuff, and I will have to look at something like that eventually. Two seconds. I think this laptop's a pain in the arse sometimes. That's it. Yeah, flawed but faithful, saying they feel awful for anyone going through UC, but they've not had any issues with any in the Scottish system. And I'll be honest, there is some job centres you just don't hear from. There's some brilliant people in job centres, and I don't think I've said it nowhere near enough. That there definitely is some brilliant people in the job centres, and that's why some people experience or have a better experience than others. Yeah, Brad's saying they hate positivity. Absolutely, they can't deal with that. They need fear and worry. Gary Shields is asking how overweight was I. I was 21 stone, and a friend of mine actually sent a picture the other day there when I was 18. I was probably about 18, 19 stone at the time. I don't know if I'm going to put it up because I don't like it, but I might. I'll see. But it is definitely there. Fiona, how you doing? Fiona's saying the silence of being in nature, of God's universe presence, daily in silence, of listening to nature sounds, God is absolutely. So that's what it is. It's everything around us, man. It's not just any one guy that's dictating things. It's not. It's in here. Hey, Apple Charlotte, how you doing? Thank you, Gio. You're more than welcome. Yeah, Jasmine, how you doing? Jasmine's saying that she thinks the smoking ban is a bit pointless in a way, and I think if people want to smoke, they will sit. They will still smoke. There are deeper issues to be. Absolutely. I mean, uh, I don't believe in smoking tobacco, or even though I use a little bit for a joint and that. But how can if people want to smoke, why can't they? I'm not saying it's good for you, but they still need to reserve the right for that. And it's just more control. They don't really care about people. It's just what getting us used to ever more restrictions. That's what it's really about. Yeah, you're right, Mr. M. You only need to read the God. I mean, the Old Testament and how bloodthirsty he is. He's a gangster, like, there's no doubt about that. Machiavelli's asking if I would recommend going low carb to lose weight. Well, I mean, yeah, it's dieting's how we lose weight. Exercise and weights is how we build muscle. So yeah, um, you'll see a difference just cutting one meal a day out. If you have your last meal at 5 or 6 o'clock and you cut that out to your breakfast, you'll see an amazing difference. Hi, Sully. How you doing? I wish I could give you some tips, Sully. Sully's asking if I could give him. He's got a tribunal here in the ADP. Any tips for the mobility component? I wish I could give you some tips, mate, but I've not got any experience with that. I was a call handler that worked in this living room. So all I really did with that, well, I didn't really do anything with that stuff. It was all universal credit. Any disability components that I dealt with was the universal credit side of things. And even then, I couldn't have told you anything about the processes. So I do apologise, mate. I'm sure if you go into a forum online, or maybe somebody will be kind enough to lend your experience in the comments. 1888 Celtic saying 21 stones. Tyson Fury's size, yeah. I just didn't like it. Like, it was horrible. It's not a nice place to be. Like, yeah, tone dial is the Bible is just, if that's what you're talking about, it is symbolic. Thank you very much, End of Days. That's really, really, honestly, that's so generous of you. I really appreciate it. And flawed but faithful. I mean, that's your opinion, but the God in the Old Testament is a gangster. He's a tyrant. Even some religious people would agree with that. So it's not just me that says that. And like I say, it's just my opinion. From the passages I've read, it's not something I would be looking up to anyway. So, or I wouldn't recommend that anyone else look up to it either, because it's quite unforgiving, to put it politely. No problem, Sully. You don't ask, you don't get in this world, pal. We need to have the savvy to ask, don't we? 1888 Celtic asking if I've ever took acid, mate. I'll be honest with you, I've took every drug. It's not something I'm proud of, like, but I've took all of them, like, so. Yeah, and it's acid was probably one of the most fun ones. I had some of the best nights of my life on it. You actually wake up the next day with a sore face because you've laughed that much. I don't see why, but they don't want you tapping into that side of yourself. Karen Tinsley saying she's watching Lost History at the moment. It's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I loved, like, back at the start of my journey in particular, watching all these old history things about the war, everything. It was just amazing. I just couldn't get enough of it. It was so. It got to the stage where documentaries and conferences or and whatever, it just wasn't enough. I had to. That's when I had to start reading books. 727's cool stuff, asking if I believe that dreams have meanings. I do. Yep, absolutely I do. There's definitely meanings in dreams, and they often can tell the future, dreams. 21st century visits saying God is vengeful in the Old Testament. Absolutely. DMT, I have indeed. 1888 Celtic. Although I smoked that though, and it was intense. I'll be honest, but it didn't have the same effect as there's a friend of mine I used to work with, and he had said that when he'd done it with his brother, he'd like had 3 smokes of it, and it felt like he was away for hours, and he was being walked through this jungle that had all these massive buildings in it, and this guide was telling him all about it, and I thought, great, that sounds awesome. And it felt like he was away for hours, but he was only away for 15 minutes. But when it happened with me, all I could see was like it was like sacred geometric triangles, like in the dark. But it was intense, like. But I do want to do that's part of why I was learning why I'm learning Spanish, because I want to do ayahuasca eventually in Peru or something like that. Yeah, Jasmine Barrett saying there was text taken out of the Bible by Constance. Absolutely, it's not just him. There's been 16 books. In fact, I think it's probably more than that, but there's at least 16 books been removed from the Bible. And anyone that's looking to be truthful, you don't need to do that. That's my point with it. Why remove these things? If you want the truth, surely it gets left in there for everyone to see. Ignore the question. Melvin saying, do I know that Hopkins is son Herschopsis? Mate, I'm not really bothered. But I'll say it one more time about Katie Hopkins. I'm not a particular fan of hers. I like her take on COVID and vaccines in the shorts. She makes me laugh. We need to laugh. That's it. That's as far as it goes, mate. What her politics or her background or any of that stuff is absolutely none of my business. And I'm not looking to make it my business. So that's what I'll say to that. Yeah, you're right, Karen. Charity begins at home. Yeah, people are freezing. They'll be dying. People are dying. When I was on Ashley's podcast, he'd asked me, I think it was Ashley asked me, what do you think, what the effect do you think it's having on people and on their mental health? And it is killing people. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Tone Dial. The Mel Stride, the Work and Pension Secretary, saying that there's a real risk now that we're labelling the normal ups and downs of human life as medical conditions. And thank you very much, cool stuff. That's really nice of you. And see, this is the problem with that as well. I mean, there is people out there with very, very real conditions. There is, but there's a lot of people that still sort of use it to get these benefits, and that is a problem. And I know things can be difficult, but see if you can get yourself through the difficult times and keep going in those difficult times and remain true to yourself and integral and be a good character, remain with an open heart. And honestly, man, the longer it lasts and the longer you can do that, the better you end up at the end of it. There's no doubt about that. Someone said to me the other day there about wanting to like put my manager's name out there, and it's like, well, why do you want me to do that? I've forgiven him. It's done. It's over. We move on. What's he going to do if I do that? We can't get him up in any charges. It's just going to open him up to misery and ridicule and trolls. I'm not looking to be the cause of his misery. I don't want to be the cause of that. I might not agree with what he's done, but I don't want to make his life any more miserable than what people's lives are. I mean, we've got enough misery in the world, so why Why should I be the cause of more of that? Someone has to break the cycle. They really, really do. And if that needs to be me, then fine, because that's how we stop the wheel of karma, by forgiveness. Look, Melvin, you're saying that she's a business. It's all a business. She's an influencer, but we need to get control of our own minds and our own consciousness. Be your own influencer, because once you connect with your energy and learn discernment, no one can influence you other than the positive side of it. If it's negative, you'll know it because you're connected in with yourself. And that's the way I look at that, mate. So I mean, if you want to get hung up on what she says about that stuff, I would recommend that you don't, because you're not doing her any damage. You're just hurting yourself. And it's not going to change anything either. So if she is what you say she is, I'm sure it will be revealed. Yeah, you're right, John. Everything's open to interpretation, John. He's saying the scriptures have been open to interpretation for centuries, by man. You're absolutely right, because that's what they're for. They're for you to learn from in whatever way you can. Machiavelli's saying that his friends and family still regard them as anti-vax and make the joke anytime the topic is brought up. Yeah, I mean, I had that for years as well, and I'll say to you what I said to them. Type into Wikipedia, vaccine court, America, and look at how much it's paid out. Last time I checked it paid out about, I think it was about 5 billion in 10 years. If they're safe, how's that possible? And they established this court in 2010 because there were so many lawsuits against these things for damage on them. They had to establish their own court. It'll be a lot more now, like. But hi, I'm the boss. No, I don't, mate. I don't watch Delve from Beyond the Imaginary Curve. No. I've seen the curve when I've been in a plane, mate. Maybe I was hallucinating. I don't know. I have took acid before. Yeah, I know. Amazing Karen's saying amazing architecture in the ancient world. It was built with people that were on horse and carts and used sort of hand tools. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Yeah, flawed but faithful. Where's Kate Middleton? My mum came out with a few theories about that earlier. I mean, maybe she's having an affair with someone or something. I don't know. I mean, I've not really paid any attention to that, to be fair. Yeah, that's right. Lee's saying that he reads a lot of scripture and he knows that things have been removed and changed, and that's what concerns me about it, mate. Yeah, JME. I wasn't a fan of. He's talking about Dr. John Campbell. I don't know if he's a doctor. Like, I think he's a nurse, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know that much about him. But I didn't like what he was saying in the beginning. But I'll tell you what, hat off to the guy, because he changed his mind, and see people that can do that, man. Hat off to you. Yeah, Melissa, he is a cool dude, because he changed his mind, and that's what we need to do. Yeah, 727, cool stuff. The Planet X stuff, I've never bought into. Listen, it might be true, but I always get a feeling that just something doesn't feel quite right about it. And I just don't. It doesn't mean that there isn't something right about it. It just means that I'm not going to look into it for that reason. And if I need to know, it'll come into my life. But I've 10 years and I've not looked into it, and I've managed to get here. So yeah, yeah. There is a lot of X symbol. Galway girls talking about. There's a lot of X symbolism everywhere there is, but it's not related to Planet X. What the X symbolism is, that's a symbol of Saturn. That's Saturn symbolism. That's why you see it everywhere. Now, the X actually comes from the fact that when you take a cube, because a cube symbolises Saturn, a black cube, and that's everywhere in our world as well. Black cubes. If you look through society, I mean, there's one in Israel it's in that they walk around, and the black cube, when you roll out a cube, it becomes a cross, and this is where the cross for Christianity comes from, and this is where the X, because it's a cross as well. And it's the same like black. Look at the black symbolism that we've got, like in law and priesthood, and then you look at the when someone graduates, that square thing on their head, the hat, that's a cube. That's to symbolise Saturn. The wedding rings symbol of Saturn as well. It's Saturn's rings. So Saturn symbolism is absolutely everywhere, and I mean everywhere. There's a PDF. It's a hard book to read, like, but it's the Saturn myth. It's called. I think was it David Talbot that written that one. You'll never buy it. The cheapest I'd seen the book was for about £800. The dearest I'd seen it was for about 200 or 400. It was. So I downloaded the PDF and read it. But it's an amazing read. It really is. It's crazy. But that's what it's all about. Tam's asking what part of Scotland I'm from. I was born in Lanark, Tam, but I live in Dumfries and Galloway now. What about the 8th of April, Galway? What's happening then? Interestingly enough, 8 is the number that rules Saturn. Or it's connected to it. Because it's connecting to money, that as well. No, I don't mean he's a cool dude, like he's relaxed like a rock star or whatever. I just mean I think it's cool that he managed to change his mind the way he did, considering his stance at the beginning of it. That's all I mean. Yeah, he's a PhD. He's not a medical. I didn't realise what his credentials. I didn't think he was a medical doctor. Keesman, thanks for clearing that up. Hey, Amal, how you doing, pal? Glad you could join me, mate. Yeah, Gary, 17,000. It is. It's subs. It's crazy, mate. Honestly, it really is. It's crazy. And I really appreciate every last one of you, genuinely. NK, thank you very much for that, sir. That's really generous of you. Honestly, I really appreciate that. It's so nice. Yeah, the solar eclipse, baby tails. Is that what it is it? I mean, I know there's arguments for it, but the flat Earth, I'm the boss is saying. But again, you really need to go and look at axial precession and the precession of the equinoxes before making that call. You really do, because you'll start to get into the golden ratio and the sacred geometric nature of the universe, and you'll realize that those numbers are within the makeup of our bodies. They're in photosynthesis, they're in shells, it's in everything, because it's a holographic simulation. There's so much more to know than the shape of the Earth. It really is irrelevant. It's not relevant. I mean, it's not relevant. I'm sorry, but it just isn't. It'll make no difference. Thomas Sheridan, Jamie, is that Irish? Is that the Irish DJ guy that used to work in the radio? Because I watched a couple of his videos and Jimmy Savile, and actually just reminded me I'm going to do a video on Jimmy Savile and why I think he was a serial killer. Because I think he was Bible John as well in Glasgow. My stomach tells me that he is. Like, I'm going to try and do some research into it. I forgot all about that, actually. I've just been caught up with all this stuff, like with people and phone calls, and I spend a lot. Thank you very much, Paul. That's really nice of you, mate. I really appreciate that. I spend quite a lot of time replying to emails, and I try and read all the comments as well, but I don't get notified of all of them. I don't even get to see all of them, even if I check on the videos. So I will, and I keep meaning to say this, anyone that needs help will need to contact my email address or my Instagram account. That's right, Danny Morgan, the Fibonacci sequence, mate. That's exactly what it is. And this is what they don't take any of this into it. There's just so much more to know than that. It's just, if that's what you want to look into, fine, but you need to look into the holographic simulation theory and the endless stacks of evidence to support it. Thank you very much, Keysman. I really appreciate that. Yeah, someone's saying that asking if anyone's kicked the fluoride. I would suggest, honestly, that connection I talked about earlier on, when you kick the fluoride, you'll start to connect in more. It's amazing. It really is. It's amazing what it does to your mind. Yeah, Melissa's saying that John Campbell worked as an NHS. I thought that's what he was in the NHS, a nurse. Yeah, that's right, Graham Williamson. It is that guy, Tommy Sheridan on Savile and Sutcliffe. And anyone that wants to listen, that wants to listen to it, I think I've got a link for it on my channel. I'll post it if anyone's interested. And it's not on for nowhere near long enough, but it is brilliant. And the research he's done is amazing. And I'm telling you now, there's more to know about that man, about Jimmy Savile. Mate, it doesn't tell you. The shape of the earth doesn't tell you where you're coming from, mate. Your heart does. Melvin's asking if I've looked into PPP, private public partnership, and how governance. I haven't, mate. Governance to the higher corporation, WEF, UN policy, no, but I'll have a look at that. Yeah, the golden ratio 3.618, absolutely. But there's the Fibonacci sequence as well. 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3, 2, 5, 5, 3, 8, so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm saying the 100 fluoride fog. I've experienced it, mate. Honestly, it is. You just can't think straight. And then when I used to get asked questions all the time, or asked to do something, I'm like, how do you do that? And then they would do it and be like, how did I not know that? Fluoride. Now, that's not quite true, Purple Rain. John Campbell's not followed the narrative from start to finish. John Campbell was all for vaccines and lockdowns and all the rest of it, and he changed his mind in the end. That much I know. Like, he might not be fully open to a lot of it, but he still did change his mind about a lot of it. Yeah, I mean, I'm into Fibonacci. I do like numbers, mate. And I know I said earlier on, but it's just, I don't know what's the financial side of things. I know it sets you free, but it's just always kind of hurt my head, the money type of things. I've just never been interested in having loads of it. I just haven't. Like, I like learning stuff. That's what I get my buzz. That's what I get my buzz from, man. Yeah, definitely, Mo. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. L. Phillips is saying to watch the Joe Rogan and Cat Williams podcast. Someone was telling me about that the other day. There, thanks for reminding me, mate. You're welcome. I'll get that watched later, or maybe sometimes later on in the week. Maybe we'll see what the time's like. Yeah, Carmen's saying she was a child in the Jimmy Savile days and always found him creepy. My gran used to say that as well. That she said there was always something about him. I mean, when you watch it back, how could you not? Some of them that time when he's eating that banana, like that's absolutely mind-boggling. But some people have put it that he's an illusionist, like a type of wizard, and this stuff's real. Like it really is in the secret societies and stuff. And his cigar and his the banana on that particular interview was his prop to sort of. It was like his magic wand sort of thing. It's just he's very very, and a lot of people used to say he's very intuitive, like a serious piece of trickery is what I've heard them called by people that knew him. Because let's face it, everyone, he sat in front of tens of millions of people for decades upon decades, in front of planes, in front of everyone. Even though some people knew what he was doing, and even the circles knew what he was doing, and it was the worst kept secret in Britain, and yet he still got away with it. Obviously, because he had connections as well, like, but doesn't change the fact they waved it in everybody's faces for decades. Yeah, you're right, Keysman. Absolutely. It's a big man that can stand up and say he was wrong. You're right, it is. And anyone that does it deserves to be commended. And that's why I commend John Campbell. One of the biggest psychopaths of all going, Jimmy Savile. Absolutely, Ashley. Definitely. Sean Tolson, you're welcome, mate. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I don't trust Joe Rogan either, mate. To be fair, I really don't. But that doesn't mean he's. I mean, some of his guests are on like they podcast with Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock. They're brilliant. I know people call him a shill as well, and I mean, while we're calling everyone shills, I'm not saying they don't exist, but we're all divided, and that's why we need to build our own discernment, and we do that by connecting with our consciousness and just we need to watch the videos. Like we need to put the time in. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much, Valeria. That's really nice of you. I'll do my best to keep doing it. Yeah, I've heard of John Wedger, Daniel. That's another guy that gets called a shill. And I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but these people that shout he's a shill, he's a shill, he's a shill, they never produce any evidence. Yeah, Ogham the board saying Rolf Harris, CBMBA, OBE. See, these people, these royals, these circles, they've not got any problems with being round abusers, have they? They've certainly had plenty of abusers in their circles. Thank you very much, Vixen of Ash. You're more than welcome. Honestly, see, when you say that, it does. It just gives me so much inspiration to keep going. So thank you. Thank you, Lee. Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time in mornings, you can imagine, because I have to be able to think. I mean, one of my favourite. This is why I like when I used to like working in the morning. That's why I love the morning now. When I'm kind of sit, because I sit and stare out the window. I could do it for hours. Honestly, just thinking about absolutely nothing. It's such an amazing experience, and that's why I love my guitar, because I get dropped. I sit there with this bit of wood in my hand, and I just 2 hours just passes like that, and it's amazing. I mean, recently, actually, I've not really been playing it as much, and my fingers have went soft again, so they were killing me on Sunday, like, when I was using it, but I just need to keep doing it again. They're kind of going back to the way they were before now, like, but yeah, it's brilliant just to get lost, man, and that's why I don't think I need to meditate, because I'm a total daydreamer and always have been. Yeah, I mean, that's again on the shells. Everyone always shouts shells, but someone, and he was a troll. I knew he was a troll. I accepted him on Instagram because I thought maybe it's someone that's just kind of set up an account, needs to get in touch with me. And I kept an eye on him, and it finally came. I realised he was monitoring my comments, and he sent something to say that all these people were shells, and this is the proof. And there was no proof, absolutely not one shred of evidence in that whole article. And the other two that I looked at as well to support. They may still be shells, all these people, but like I said to him, there was no evidence within that article to support what they were saying. And I think until it comes, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing, because all these people that some of these guys say are shells have helped me change my life. So if they're shells, then fine. They've still helped me change my life. Yeah, Danielle, I'd love to talk to Sonia Poulton. I've watched loads of interviews. Someone said that she wanted to interview me, but I mean, that's easy for people to say in the comments. It's easy for them to, I mean, it's all right saying that, like, but they still need to contact you, don't they? Melvin, you talk Jimmy Savile, Hopkins connections, Belfield connects Savile. Well, so what? So now that, because I've said that I like Katie Hopkins' shorts, that now that I'm misled because she's got a connection to Alex Belfield, who had a connection to Jimmy Savile. See, that's where I differ for people like yourself, mate, because just because someone's maybe saying something or doing something wrong that you don't agree with or whatever, with regards to Katie Hopkins or anyone for that matter. It doesn't mean to say you can't learn. So I don't agree with, like, I've learned so much from Jordan Peterson. I don't agree with everything he says. In fact, I would strongly disagree with him on a lot. It doesn't mean I still won't listen to his videos, though. I disagree with David Icke on things. I still listen to his videos, though. I haven't for a while, like, but I still do now and again. Just because you disagree with someone on something, and again, where is the actual proof that all these people are shells? I'm not saying they're not, they may be, but people need to start providing evidence, because until you do that, I think it's probably best just to keep your opinions to yourself. I mean, say your opinions, but you can't be berating people just because I've endorsed Katie Hopkins' COVID videos and thought they've been amusing. So just because she's connected to these apparent people, I should not laugh at her videos. Is that honestly what you're saying? I mean, it's ridiculous, mate. I'm sorry, but it is. That's just my opinion again. Like, and I'm moving on from the shell talk because it does no good. Yeah, Mo, absolutely. Lost in the music. It's a music. It's a vibration. We're a vibration. That's why we're so connected to it. It's why music can have such an effect on us. And I've had music having me in tears. I'm sure you all have experienced something along that lines as well. And I get such goosebumps from it. It's unreal. And I mean, bursts of energy, goosebumps. It's amazing. It's such a buzz. It's brilliant. And I love playing the guitar. That's probably why I've gotten so good at it, because I do love playing it. And I've played it every day for nearly 5 years. I haven't, mate. So Vetian of Reavers saying that on the subject, hi mate, how you doing? That woke types infiltrating and changing institutions. Have you been keeping up with Sweet Baby Inc. stuff happening in the gaming scene? I haven't, mate, but I'll certainly keep an eye out for that. I thought you were going to say about Sweden there when I seen the first S&W, but I mean, that's a topic we could discuss into the wee hours, like. Yeah, and that's that, to those progressive types. I would encourage them to look at Sweden and have a look at what's going on there. They've gone further than anyone, and with all this sort of equality stuff and woke stuff, where they want everything balanced correctly so that everyone gets included, and they've got the right amount of women doing this. And I mean, their country's in an absolute mess. It's been destroyed. I've listened to politicians a couple of months ago from there, and guys, I can't remember the guy's name. He wasn't a politician; he was a famous author from there, and he'd said that I want my country back. I do not recognise this country. No, because that's the agenda. And if only these left progressives would realise that. They want to change society. They want to change the human being. They want to change you into a literal non-thinking drone, which they can control from a central point. That is the game. Yeah, Keysman, I'm the same. Fearing God. You don't. We are God. That's that. I've said it again. In there, the consciousness, your energy, that's God, and it doesn't do fear. It does love, pure love, and that's it. And that's why I disagree with him strongly on that. And I would say that to his face. Yeah, I've seen Ren. Where did I see that? Did I listen to him the other week there? But I can't really remember. I'll look into that though, Jimmy. Thank you, mate. How you doing, Doc Smith? Hope you're well, pal. Yeah, there's baby tails. I like Jordan Peterson. I like Kay Hopkins. I like Neil Oliver. Yeah, why not? They do speak a lot of sense. So why wouldn't you like them? Some people, I do wonder. Like, I do wonder about some people. Like, I really do. What? Who cares? Why sit there and envy and what are they doing? How they're? That's you're doing yourself no favors, man. Keep it positive. Yeah, Paul the Hat. Me too, mate. I'm a vinyl collector as well. The latest one I just got was the Liam Gallagher and John Squire single. Just Another Rainbow. I like the. I've not opened it. Like, I don't think I'm going to. I like the cutout of it. I might get the album as well. I mean, it's okay. Some of the songs, I know it's divided opinion, like, but It's all right. Like I quite like some of the songs on it. I'm going to start learning some of the lead guitar parts on my electric guitar because that's what I've been playing most recently. Yeah, you're right, Jasmine. Live music does have a different quality. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Mike saying that he'd like to hear me play the guitar. Now, I mean, I would love to demonstrate it, but I need to be confident because yeah, I would need to. It's not that playing the guitar; you need to kind of sing with it as well. And it's just, I'll see, Like, if I ever drank alcohol again, I probably would. That's why I don't. Yeah, the gender agenda, absolutely. Leanne's asking if I play the electric or the acoustic. I play both of them, Leanne. I've got an electroacoustic as well. It's just to learn an instrument. It's an amazing thing. It really is. I will do, Jimmy. Thank you very much, pal. Oh, how you doing, James? Thank you very much. I didn't realise, mate. Thanks for providing that information, though, pal, because that'll go a long way to giving people confidence that they can do it themselves. So thanks for that. Even though you'd gone through hell with it, you stuck with it. And that was the point of my video today as well. So you should be proud of yourself for that. How you doing, Dean? I'm so pleased to hear that, mate. The best feeling that Dean's saying that over the last years of my family coming round to the way we think on your channel and being awake to the nonsense. I get so much. Thank you, mate. Honestly, like, see that what you've just said there, Dean. Before I started, I said to myself, if some people could just get that type of thing from it, if it just does that for a few people, it'll have been worth it. So thank you very much for sharing that, Dean. And you're more than welcome. It's a pleasure. How you doing, Andrew? It is, Doc. It's a Sergio, mate. I like a bit of 80s casual gear. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, I like Elephant Stone's my favorite Stone Roses song. Lee. Absolutely love it. I can play it on the acoustic, like, but I was going to cut the acoustic. But I'll need to learn it on the electric. Well done, Mo. Sing it anyway. I never used to be able to sing. I mean, I used to be able to sing when I was a kid. I was in a choir, believe it or not. But I think that was probably I was probably quite. I was seen as quite good at it, like. But that's probably because my balls hadn't dropped yet. Like my voice was still soft. So when I started playing the guitar, I was still overweight and it didn't sound that great. But I sound a bit better now. Like I must say. I mean, I'm not a good singer by any stretch of the imagination. Like, but I'm a lot better than I was. So it proves that you can get better at it. Oh, Keysman, that's interesting. He's saying that he's been a session keyboard player for the industry, both studio and live. Nice one. Bet you've got a few stories, mate. Music studies, one of the yogas. Yeah, the industry does disrespect artists and music. I mean, it's the industry parasites off artistry. Thank you very much, L. Phillips. I mean, the funny thing about that first video is I think I recorded about 12 hours of footage before that. Some of them were like an hour and a half, and some of them were absolute belters. When you come, I mean, that is a good one, like, but some of them were much better, like, and that was just because I was thinking, being too nitpicky, and then I just decided to post it. So, how you doing, Chris? I'm doing well, mate. Thank you. Hope you are as well. Yeah, Carmen saying her son earns a goodish living busking. I've heard people can make a wage out it, and I mean, if you need to sit there for 8 hours, right, and you make 70 quid or 80 quid, you're sitting there doing that, you're doing what you love, and you're getting a wage for it. So it's brilliant. I love it when I hear people can do that. Like Shirley's saying she's lived 61 years and the last 20's been the worst since she can remember, and I don't doubt that. It's the global tyranny's been peeking its ugly head now. Shirley, it's in the room now, and the door's been closed, and everyone can see it. And some people aren't dealing with it very well. That's understandable. But I'll say it again, as I said in my climate change video. This we're rising. The energies are rising, and we need to rise with it. And if you don't, you're going to go the other way. Like. Absolutely, Mike. There's Michael Derbyshire, brilliant. He's just put it. That's exactly what it is. That's it in a few words. That's all we need to know. Tapping into universal consciousness, infinite intelligence, and that's what Michael's just described in a few words there. What I was talking about earlier on. So thank you for that, Michael. You're right, Carmen, saying there was no way into the industry, so he went out and found his way, and that is the best way because of the way the world is now with phones and stuff. He'll probably get more chance of getting noticed. I mean, look at that John Squire's last group, the Seahorses. He that's where he found his singer. He was busking outside Woolworths in New York. Yeah, I bet they did, Keysman. And I'll tell you something, mate. I'm thinking about maybe starting a wee podcast of some kind. I don't know when it'll be. I'll wait for the feelings, like. But I would love to have you on, like, to hear some of those stories because I bet you've got a few. Yeah, something I've not mentioned nowhere near enough. Lucky Osborne saying many of our friends are being asked for ID and bank statements by the DWP this month, all British born. I'm actually still waiting to hear back from a case manager that I've got that's contacted me, and they'd contacted me to say that someone has. I can't remember, I'll need to read the email back, but they've challenged it on why they need to give these bank statements because that's privacy, like, and we've got consent, like we need to consent to things, and if it's not in the law, then why do we need to consent to that? And it's shocking, like it really is. And there's some revelations coming in the restart video, which I'm going to be. I'll record it tomorrow and post it. Nice one, Keysman. I'll keep you in mind, mate. I know you're always on a live stream or most of the time anyway, so I can let you know. But thank you, pal. That's right, Lee. Only when we come together, regardless of what your colour of skin, your income bracket, or what you believe, it's not going to go away until we all come together. Absolutely. I'm definitely going to do it, like the podcast. Thank you, Carmen. That's really nice of you. I mean, like I say, even if I only get like 1,000 views on a video, I'm not going to say, well, that's not worth doing because it's only 1,000 views and that's not good enough. It's still 1,000 people that you're denying if you don't do it. And that's the way I look at it. Right, okay, so that's us kind of getting to the hour and a half mark. Is there anything I'm going to start closing things up now? Is there anything else that anyone wants to ask just before we do? And I would anyone for everyone that donated tonight, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. It's really generous of you. For everyone else that joined me, I really appreciate you coming on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, as it really is. I have some of my best talks when I'm sort of just coming from the heart and people sort of ask questions, like, because you can bounce off them. So it's always a pleasure to have you. I'll be back on a live next week again, no doubt. And I'll see you on the next video, which, like I say, will be tomorrow. God bless everyone, or consciousness bless, I should say. And all the best to you. You're amazing, honestly. And we're going to change it. So thanks again for joining me. Take care, people. Okay.